Hi everyone, it's Davi Jenda here, and this is Ren Ferrum. And today I want to talk about conflict and what the solution to conflict is, because we all have conflicts. Like, we're all going through things, and there are so many experts out there that tell you how to resolve conflicts, and there's just like so much going on. My personal belief is that the only way to resolve a conflict is resolution. And you're just like, wait a minute. Resolution is, yeah. But in the sense of like breaking down the word, resolution. You focus on the solution, you do not focus on the conflict. And I know there's a bunch of renowned therapists out there and philosophers and all of the different technical terms for people who have a lot of reputation behind them that tell you how to resolve conflict, because we're all trying to figure it out, right? And I can personally tell you that I'm human, and I go into the tendencies and I see the different reels that come up and the different videos that show up, and they give advice on how to go through different things, and it's very practical, it's very logical, and it's also very difficult. And I'll go into that in a moment. First, I want to start by talking about my personal experience, right? I'm human, so I do have conflict. I have had lots of conflict in my life, just navigating it like we all do. But on a deeper level than that, I am a first generation American born from a refugee of Cambodia. So if some of you are aware, you know that in the 70s there was a genocide. It was horrific, and the country is still recovering today from it. And so for those that were lucky enough to escape all of that, they still had to experience, being forced from their homes, watching people be murdered, have the risk of their life, being blown up, being treated like a slave, being starved, just all of this. So that's a big conflict, right? And it's affecting a lot of people, and that is something that it passes down generationally. Like, those traumas are very real. And so as a first generation born after that, I still feel it in my body, even though I didn't go through it. I have the stories of what they all went through. I have every right to be enraged, and still I feel peace. I feel peace, and I feel like a lot of Cambodians also feel the same way, that the only solution is peace. The only solution is to focus on the actual solution of it. And I'm going through a conflict in my personal life, and going about it all the typical ways, and I was thinking, this isn't working, and it's not going to work, because I feel it in my body, I understand the logic behind it, and that's when it dawned on me. That's when all of this dawned on me. And these are things that I've tried on micro levels in the past before, but as I was reflecting on it today, and like, I went to my car and grabbed this whiteboard, because I was just like, I need to write all of this down, because this is the key. Like, this is literally the key. And I'm going to start by talking about the renowned therapists, right? They tell us all of the different signs to look out for. If somebody does something to something, it means that they're this. If you do this to someone, it means that you're this. And what it does is it helps the mind understand why things might be potentially happening on a psychological level. But what it doesn't do is create connection. It creates separation, because it's labeling people. It's categorizing people. These are accusations. Nobody wants to be seen as bad. Nobody wants to be seen as negative. But guess what? Everybody's experience is so valid. The way that people act is for a certain reason, right? And a lot of empaths know this, and that's why there's this like whole forgiveness thing. Like, I've gotten stuck in these cycles where I just like I understand so deeply, and it still doesn't excuse what was done, and the resolution, the conflict was never actually finalized because it was still gone out in the sense of just understanding that the other person acts the way that they act because it's the way that they act. The deeper level of it is to understand that by creating these labels and categorizing and further creating the divide, what it's doing is it's creating solutions by repression. This is not authentic change. You cannot force somebody to change. Just because you present all of the details, all of the facts, even if they recognize that they were wrong for something, you're still forcing the person to change because they don't want to be the bad guy. You know, change happens naturally. It's a progression. Also, when I was talking about the experience being valid, everything that happens in a conflict, there's multiple people involved, right? So one person feels a certain way because the other person did this, or because they have past things that cause them to believe this. And yes, you can't argue with that. Everybody does something for a reason. And your experience is unique. To try to tell somebody that their experience is wrong, that their opinion is wrong, it doesn't move towards solution at all. Everybody's opinion, everybody's perspective, everybody's reason why is valid. And so, what do? You hear the other person out. You literally listen to the other person, and there's going to be this natural tendency to come up and combat and give reasons and excuses. I get this because I've felt it too, where I'm like, oh, this person is saying something, but I feel like they don't understand why I did something, or they don't understand what the deeper layers of that whole thing was, and it doesn't help. Getting your side across to somebody else while they're trying to tell you their side is not helpful. It creates more tension. It creates them not being heard, and then you don't feel heard, and then there's like labels of saying like, oh, well, there's just excuses for all these things. So it's very, very important to allow the other person to just talk. Allow the other person to talk and share their perspective about it. Don't convince them. Don't compare your version of the story out loud to them. Reflect on the differences. Reflect on what their perspective is, what their opinion is. Reflect on how it's different, but do it in your mind. Do it in your mind, because this is going to be very, very important when we get down to looking out for the things that will actually help. So there are common themes, right? Okay, these conflicts keep happening regardless of the details of what is it. It revolves around this particular thing. So put that aside, right? Where could there be common ground? Because there is a solution, and it just might mean that one or more parties need a compromise. And now you may be asking, like, does this work? Is this a proven thing? Well, I can tell you that if all parties are using this method, it will work. And I say that because you're focusing on solution. When you put your attention towards what you want the outcome to be, that's what's going to happen. If there continues to be a focus on fighting, then it's not going to work. Because that's focusing on conflict. That's not focusing on the resolution. Well, my little Rian, Artaeus, just woke up from his nap. And my little Ren down here is just being ridiculously cute. And I'm going to end the video at that. These were just my post-nap waking realizations as I'm navigating certain things, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, what if we all just focused on the solution? And I opened up my Facebook, and there's this older man who I feel like gets a lot of flack in the community, but I've always had a keen eye towards him because he says things that resonate with me on a deep level. I've shared experiences about different dimensions and stuff, and he was able to tell me what exactly they were, and so that information it's very valuable to me. And so I revere the insights that come out of him. And anyways, so it popped up on my feed. He was talking about people focusing on battles, right? And that we're always going to be fighting, people are always focusing on the battles. And there's this whole string of comments underneath it that say all the typical things about, like turning your eye to the other side and blah blah blah. And you know what I found in it is deep resonance. Deep resonance, because I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
He pooped again. I just changed his diaper when he woke up.
yeah, and he poops.
Oh, okay. Well, I better take care of that. Oh my goodness, I realized I didn't use my microphone. I hope you guys can hear me. Bye.